All right, I want to welcome all of you to this very special training. I am Paul Counts and I'm alongside,
Raya Banerjee.
and we are talking all about the three marketing levers and how to truly build a winning business online. So, we're going to walk you through all the important levers that any business can pull that's going to extract more cash from your current following, help you generate more leads, help you make more sales without having to spend more money or a lot more money. So we're going to totally reverse how everybody teaches you marketing in these next few minutes. We're going to walk you through our entire process that we call our three marketing levers that you can pull to truly build a winning business. So we are excited to dive in. Let's pull up the slides here and walk you through this process. Now, this is the exact same process that our clients have been able to learn from, that we've been able to use and help them grow dramatically. So we are going to be covering all these steps. This is the most important thing any business can do. Now, does your niche count? Does this work in any niche? Shreya, we have worked in some of the craziest niche markets, and this is just a small list of the niche markets we've worked in.
Yes, believe it or not, there's more to this list. And I
Yes.
know people tell you to go niche down, but the way we approach marketing is more process based, which allows us to apply this process in pretty much any industry possible. And I come from a manufacturing background where, you have sets of rules. And in the manufacturing, no matter what widget you're building, you're going to follow those processes and you're going to get that widget in the end. We've kind of applied that in marketing actually, and so we have a very specific marketing process which works fantastically. Doesn't matter what industry, and that's the reason you see funeral directors, hoof trimming. I didn't even know that was a business, hoof trimming. I
Right.
guess it is. Yeah, ceiling fans, lupus, telecom, gut health, real estate, truck parts, HR software, SaaS, doesn't matter. It works on all the industries because it's very process driven marketing.
Yes, it's very process driven. So the niche does not matter. What counts is the process and that you apply the right process to your niche. So you can completely throw it out of your mind. Like we've sat in events or people in rooms and people said, I'm in horse chiropractic. You can't help me. They left the training with pages and pages of notes and built and grew their business. So I don't care what niche you're in, we can help you. And we are going to help you dial in your marketing by following these next few steps. It's such an important thing for you to understand. Now, this is our marketing process. We like to drill it down so it's on one page so that you can fully understand how to make marketing work for you. This is our simple one page marketing plan that we call it. And it looks a little bit overwhelming, but this is basically the process in a nutshell. That green spot in the middle is your landing page or your main website. But in most cases, it's your landing page that you're sending traffic to, that you have a lead magnet on. So a reason for people to opt in. If you're doing e-commerce, then that would be like a coupon code. If you're in one of those niches where really you don't have like a lead magnet could be the top 5 ways to do something. It could be the top 5 traffic sources, the top 5 ways to lose weight, top 5 stretches for back pain. Like it does not matter. You can come up with a lead magnet that fits your niche.
And think outside the box, right? Like it's a ethical bribe. That's how you kind of describe it. So look at stores. Like anytime you go shopping, I'm a big shopper. I love shopping. Anytime you go, they ask for your email to send you the receipt. So you part away from your email for a receipt that they can email you. Like they're that smart. So apply that same thing to your industry, right?
Yes, everything you do should be focused on building the leads because let's be very honest, you might have the biggest following on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, again, I don't care what it is, what platform it is, Pinterest. You could have the biggest following out there, but you don't own that audience. I know that's a news flash to many of us watching this is that your business's 5,000 followers on Facebook are not truly your leads and your business. They belong to Facebook until you get them off of Facebook to your landing page. And you can use any combination on Facebook, for example, of ads, posts to your page, stories, reels, lives, page, having your own page in your industry or having a page for the owner of the company because people are attracted to the attractive characters. Like the point is, you can use all these methods like on Instagram, use Instagram Reels, use lives, use those things, use pictures, use stories to build your following, and then use the different ads and things like that and the posts themselves to move people from your profile to your landing page. Always send people outside of these platforms because they will own your audience if you allow them to do that. This is the number one most important thing you can do in your business is own your audience. And you do this by sending them to your landing page. This is why we call this our one-page marketing plan. Okay, so now here is our 3 marketing levers kind of drilled down. The first one is a process we called CRSO, conversion rate and sales optimization, free organic traffic from social and regular SEO, and then engagement. So these are the 3 levers that you have. The CRSO strategy that we'll talk about in just a moment is really focused around taking what you already own, your own website, your own email list, and trying to maximize the revenue from that so that you can get more traffic. So this is CRSO, conversion rate and sales optimization. It's a phrase we've coined. We think it is the new thing. Some people would talk about CRO, which is, chief revenue officer is one way to look at it. Other people called CRO as conversion rate optimization. We call it conversion rate and sales optimization because we are focused on driving more sales and getting our conversion rates up to leads without having to spend more money on those sources. Now, Shreya, here's the top 8 things every website should answer. Let's go through these.
Yeah. So the first thing you need to be very clear with on your website is what are you selling? I've seen so many clients, and even like back even when I was doing it, it's like you go onto a website and we're so particular about making things pretty that we forget to tell people what exactly are we selling. If you don't tell them what you're selling, no one's going to buy it because people don't have the patience anymore to dig in to find out what exactly you're selling. So the first thing that you be very clear with is what are you selling and why should they care? Because this is the TikTok generation. I love to call it that. And because people's patience is so low. If you don't capture my attention, even on TikToks or anything else, a reel or right, if you don't capture my attention within seconds, I'm going to hit the back button, and so will you. So don't don't say, well, no, that only happens with the younger generation. That's not true. It happens with all of us. We've all become that. Our attention span we're very, very low. So if you have to lead with what's in it for them, right? And what's the cost of your product? No one wants to go digging for how much things cost or try to contact you for how much things cost because people don't like to talk anymore. And then the next one is what's the difference from your brand from the others? So what's your differentiator factor? What makes you different? Because everyone pretty much sells the same thing. It's about how you're marketing yourself a little bit differently, right? So in order
in order to kind of stand out, some of the things you can do to really jump out there and really make a difference is, having things like credibility pieces. So what podcasts you've been featured on, what newspaper you've been interviewed in, what organizations are you a member of, or does your business take care of if you're a local business, what kind of charity work is your business doing? Like all these things make a difference maker for you and help you stand out. Sometimes businesses do testimonials, and all these things that Shreya just talked about should happen above the fold. So that means people go to the website. The first thing they see should be, what are you selling and why should they care? And if you don't answer that in seconds, you are doing a huge disservice to your conversion rates. And the reason we bring this up is because a lot of businesses have that mistake of, and we've all seen it. You go to a website and it says, welcome to our store. And you're like, are you kidding me? Like, what is that?
It still happens to this day and age. It still happens.
It still happens. Like nobody cares that you're welcoming them. They want to see stuff like, double your sales overnight with this simple strategy, or they want to see, how to increase your hoof trimming capacity overnight. Like it's literally, just crazy example, but this is the kind of stuff that you have to do is you have to hit your audience where they're at. And we'll talk about how do you know what your audience wants. The other 4 things that you want that are important things to your website. Now we talked about, these are the top 8 things your website should answer or have in place. Can you navigate your site with ease? Nothing's worse than having poor navigation where they can't find where to go. Who else is using this brand? So that's where testimonials come in and layer in those things. Can they trust you? Again, testimonials, proof that you've done this, stories from your own experiences, which will also help you with SEO. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then how can I contact you? Like nothing's worse than having a quote button, get a quote button, or a contact us button that's near impossible to find when somebody wants to do business with you. So these are the most important elements, the 8 things your website should have. Now, the most important thing you could do to your business, it's all important, but if you really want to get the green part of that section dialed in, the part that we were showing you, that is the lead magnet. That is the website. That is where people go. It needs to start with your customer avatar. That is who you are targeting. This is marketing 101. You may be rolling your eyes going, you guys are not teaching anything brand new. And that's because in the 25 plus years I've been online, going 26 years now, online in this business, starting at the age of 13 and being here 26 years later, nothing has changed in related to customer avatar. And I'm telling you, if you go back 100 years to marketing, customer avatar was still important. Because if you don't know who you're selling to, you could have the best offer and opportunity in the world for somebody, but if you're not speaking to them, they're not going to purchase it. So you have to get out of your own way and go back to the basics and understand that knowing thy audience is the most important thing you can do to having success online. And it starts with your customer avatar. So this is a perfect example of a customer avatar, and that basically breaks down into questions like, what is it that your audience wants to know about? And we have a template for this that we'll actually put below this video that you can walk through. And this is an example of just a basic customer avatar, but this would be, okay, this person is a professional male that wants fancy cars, beach vacations, and has a family. So that's who our target audience is that we're speaking to in this example. So, it's a male in their 30s to 50s in that range, 30 to 40. I probably totally disrespected him, but whatever. So somebody that's 30 to 40 in that range, they are a professional. They like fancy cars. That's their dream. They want to take beach vacations and they have a family they want to support. So knowing that, we can market to them.
It's okay to have multiple avatars for your same product. That's completely okay.
Yep.
We kind of go through that in our customer avatar training, so make sure you go through that. But it's okay to have 2, 3, 4 different avatars, but you have to be as specific as possible in that one particular avatar so that you're actually talking to them and then they're connecting with you.
It's so important. It's such an important piece that you have an avatar that you know who you're talking to. Yes, because you can have multiple landing pages, you can have multiple offers within your product, but each one's going to speak to somebody differently depending on what you're selling. So it's very important. Now, this is an example of a brand that we did some work on. And you'll see here, this is what we like to see above the fold. Now, this was built in ClickFunnels. We are big fans of ClickFunnels and how to use it. In fact, that will be linked below this video as well. And this is basically, you go here and you see from this headline, finally a real solution to beat screen fatigue and eye strain. Like if you're struggling with eye strain or screen fatigue, which is a huge problem now because everybody's been on their phones and their screens, then this solves that for you right out of the gate. And then, yes, I want a free lesson. Now you can say goodbye to screen fatigue, eye strain, and tired eyes with our doctor-created at-home eye training program. Start seeing results in 1 week. Like that hits them over the head. There's a video to watch to the right. So this layout of content and copy to the left and then picture video on the right works extremely well because on mobile, it's going to be flipped where on top will be the keyword, finally a real solution to beat screen fatigue. You'll also notice that we incorporated SEO keywords like screen fatigue, things like that in there. You also will see the credibility pieces, USA Today, CBS, Mind Body Green, New York Times, Bethesda Magazine, all that's right there as well. And then the other piece here is the navigation's easy to see. Free lesson button is there for the call to actions to generate leads. Logos clean and simple. We did not have a fancy background. When we first started working with this brand, they had kind of that ombre background, which is like multiple colors together. Nothing worse than a gradient background or multiple colors brought together. It looks beautiful to your eyes maybe, but on every single browser, that is going to look vastly different and it's going to not pop for people. So white background or dark background with lighter fonts or dark font if it's a white background. Like that's the important thing to keep in mind. So this is one great example. Now, Shreya, this is another one that we love. Very simple, right? Very similar where it's got short calls to action.
Yes. You see your headline. That's the first thing that your eyes go to. You see the navigation buttons on the top so that you're not looking around, fumbling, trying to figure out where to go. There's a clear call to action, right? If I am a candidate, you click on that blue button. And they also are welcoming the existing members, which is a different color. So you know very clearly where to go. And it's very clean. You notice all the signs that we're pointing out, they're very clean.
Yeah, it's very clean. It's very simple. There's navigation's easy, doctor-led programs, a doctor, finally a doctor dedicated to your long-term health. They know what their audience is struggling with. And so they speak to that right out of the gate, and calls to action are right there and present. By far my favorite is got to be what Google's been doing lately. Like they have been killing it And I want to point out this is probably the best headline I've seen in a long time. Easy and secure access to your content. This is for Google Drive. So for those maybe listening to the audio of this is for Google Drive. Google Drive's website, it says at the top in 7 words, easy and secure access to your content. 7 words, and they tell you exactly what they do. And then they go on with the subheadline and say, store, share, and collaborate on files and folders from your mobile device, tablet, or computer. I know in seconds what they sell, and I know in seconds why they're better than the competition. And we might be sitting back going like, well, Google, why do they have to do this? Well, they've got competition too. OneDrive, they've got
Exactly.
Dropbox. Like they don't want to lose out. And calls to action are right there. Navigation's easy to find. Like there's no they hit it out of the park with the screenshot on the right side of what they do. So if you want to model a good above the fold, look at Google Drive. Like they're killing it. They do a good job of that. So let's try one more. Shreya, what do you see on this one?
It's same, right? It's Google Retail, so drive sales and reach more customers on Google search. Again, very simple, very clean. You'll see the same formatting as we're telling you, but it converts. These things convert. These pages convert.
It converts extremely well on mobile. This looks perfect. The other thing about it that I will say is this is not like, this is not like crazy copy either. Like this is not like they didn't come up with flamboyant words to sell this or oversell it. They just know their audience. They know that their audience wants to drive more sales and reach more customers on Google search. They know that.
Exactly. So that is a huge reason why we always push the customer avatar piece, because no one wants to do it, first of all, because it is work. You have to, it's not the fun stuff. It's not the social media stuff, right? It's not creating videos. It's actually coming down and figuring out who your customer will be. And once you know that, you don't have to try fancy things because you already know your customers. So all that fancy stuff that we try to do can go out because now you know exactly how to talk to them, right? You don't have to do the gimmicky dances or anything from like whatever the web version of that. You don't need fancy backgrounds. You don't need fancy pictures. You know exactly how to talk to them. And that's why this is so simple.
Yeah. I mean, you could break this down to your own business and say, let's say you're in the golf niche, like finally learn to drive without slice, quit slicing your golf shots, right there, bam, that's hit them right over the head with what you offer. And then learn. And then here's the other part. The subheadline is so important because it amplifies what you just said. So they said, drive sales or reach more customers on Google search, followed by a subheadline that says, easily manage and promote your business and products to millions of shoppers across Google with Merchant Center. Start now. Like, it does not get better than this, it does not get better than this. This is absolute brilliance right here. I love this for what Evernote's done here too. They've done kind of a little different approach to what Google's done, but I have seen this kind of style work extremely well too. So I wanted to point it out because it is a little different from what we just showed you. The key thing is that over half of your visitors, I don't care what niche you're in, like we've worked in the industrial ceiling fan niche, the roof or the hoof trimming markets, and like most of their audience is using not social media. Some are, but they're using their phones. They're using mobile devices. So like this style that we're showing you, this one kind of where it's centered, and then this one where the copy's to the left, image to the right, is going to look really well on mobile so that you don't have to overthink it. And like, yes, you can customize it. I know all the you techie people out there listening, but we don't need people to have to worry about that. When you're designing funnels and landing pages, like keep it simple. But they do a good job of saying like, tame your work, organize your life. So they know people use Evernote because they want to get more control over their business and be more organized, as well. So, and it says, remember everything and tackle any project with your notes, tasks, and schedules all in one place. Start for free. Like, bam, like that's right there. So it doesn't get better than this. Navigation's easy. The login's there for those that are coming to log in. Start free button though. Shreya, what do you see about that call to action button?
It's right there in your face, right? Like, and not in a bad way, but in a good way where you know exactly where to click. Some people have the colors match so perfectly, but where you don't know that is a button, and that's a really wrong approach to doing it.
It is.
Right?
It is
because you don't know that's a button. People don't know that's a button that they need to click. So this stands out, and people know exactly what this button will do or where they will take them.
Yeah, sometimes you can be overdo it on the aesthetics, you know, like the
Hmm.
beautiful look and feel, and forget the fact that you're hiding your conversion elements. Like, look no further than Amazon and the fact that their buttons are actually different from their yellow. Their yellow and black is not the Amazon yellow in their logo. Like, they make it stand out. And also notice this is that this is a cream colored background. So it's not like it's not white, it's off white in a way, you know, but it's also like it's got dark font. They didn't choose like a brown font that's slightly brighter, you know, because like everybody's eyes are different and it's very hard. People can see contrast, like this is contrast, but they can't see like when colors are similar. So like sometimes we have to step away from the design look and go for what's going to convert better. InspectLet is a tool that we highly recommend people use. This is actually a tool that you can use to actually see what your visitors want. I also share this because they are doing something very similar to what we just found with Evernote on the last slide, where Evernote had it all centered up. InspectLet also has it centered up. And what InspectLet does is they've got a blue background there. They've got white font. So again, that contrast, dark background, bright white font that stands out. They tell you exactly what they do. I don't have to really tell you what they do. You can read it for yourself. Stop guessing what your visitors want. Google Analytics tells you what, InspectLet tells you why. And all InspectLet does, it basically records videos of what your customers do. It's a free software you can install. They do have a paid option, which I recommend you do as you grow, but you can start off with their free version. It gives you plenty of data and it tells you things like heat maps. Like I love to use InspectLet to really determine how people are interacting with our pages. You'll see here, InspectLet not only does videos, but it also does so it does the videos and then it also will do the heat map. So it'll tell us like how far people are actually scrolling down our pages. And so it's really, really important that you dial this in within InspectLet. Like it's very, very important that you do this. And I try to gamify it and see like how far down the page can I make this go? Because ultimately you're never going to have it where 100% of the people make it to the bottom of your page. It's just part of
Right.
it. But you can get as far as you can go and get it right. Now, this is the conversion rate and sales optimization checklist. So these are the things you should have in place on your business, and you're going to want to make notes of these. So your headline should pop and stand out and solve the problem and tell people exactly the problem that you are struggling or that they are struggling with that you are solving. So you want to immediately hit them with a strong headline. That's the first thing they see, and it's going to be the reason that they leave or stay. So that's
And there was
important.
a theme. There was a theme amongst all the best practices that we showed. All the headlines were 7 words or less, right?
Yes, 7 words or less. They were all very short and sweet. So you can't make it long and verbose. Short or sweet
Mhm.
is best for headlines, especially in this generation. Above the fold, meaning what does your website look like on both mobile and on desktop? Above the fold, like laptop, computers. And then messaging, like is your messaging dialed in? Does it speak to your customer avatar appropriately? Is that all happening before people have to scroll? Because if people have to scroll, you're going to lose them. That's why you can't waste space with things like pictures that don't match up with your audience. That's why that's on here. You can't waste space with things like welcome to our website. Like it has to be every phrase counts above the fold. It's so important. Social proof, if you have it, use it. You know, you're a podcaster, then you're as heard on Apple. You know, like it doesn't matter. You can add this kind of elements to your page. Load time is so important. Look at Google page speed. How does your website load? How fast does it load? If your website is slow to load, you're going to lose conversions left and right. This will increase your conversions just by itself. This means if you have increased conversions, that means your ad costs are actually going to be decreased. That means you're going to spend less money on ads and increase the likelihood of your business closing a sale and making more money. Like that's a very important thing to keep in mind. Do you have call to action buttons that are available to see? And then the final one is what are the background colors? And are your background colors making it difficult to see the messaging on your website? These are the things you need to have in place in order to have the optimal chance of having good conversion rate and sales optimization. If you do these things, you're going to be able to spend less money on ads and you're going to be able to save more money, which means make more money, drive more traffic leads and sales by following a very simple framework. This is not the sexy stuff. This is not the attractive stuff. This is not brand new. This is not like exciting, right? This is going back to the basics, looking at what does your customer want to know? What does your audience want from you? And then you give them that. And then voila, now you can make more money in sales. Now you can go do social media. Now you can do the ads. But you have to do this first. You have to build on solid ground first. You have to have a strong foundation before you try to go out of the box and try to do all the fancy things. So it's
Yes.
very
And
important.
if you notice, all the big companies are doing it. Every example that we showed you, they're big companies, they're doing it, they're following the basics. What gets lost is everybody in the middle who tries to make things up as they go, they don't 100% understand, and everybody else tries to copy them. So don't fall in that trap. Like, follow the big leaders. This is what works. They've spent
Yeah.
millions of dollars trying to figure that out.
The big companies, I mean, you see Google doing it. You see the large
Exactly.
brands, you see the billion-dollar brands doing this because this works. They're not following the trends like all of us small businesses like to do. Or, we've worked with people that, have told us crazy stuff, but like they'll try to distract you all the time. Even when you work with clients, they'll try to say, well, have you heard about this new technology or this? Why aren't we there? Well, there's a reason we're not there because it's a waste of time. So we're going to focus on the things that are going to matter to your business ultimately. And that's what we do at Marketing Counts. And that's what you should do with your business. And so free organic traffic is a great way to go because you cannot turn off traffic. I know anybody listening to this, if we were in a room and said, who here loves free traffic? Everybody's hand would go up because you're crazy if you don't. You're going to have 100% ROI on free traffic. Now, social and traditional SEO are the things. Right now, social media is becoming such a good organic traffic method. If you watched one of our trainings like a couple years ago or a year ago, even, we would tell you things like, focus on Google, Pinterest, and YouTube, right? Those were problem solving platforms. They still are, still very important. But what's entered the mix in this case is, these used to be engagement platforms and people had it wrong. But now these are full on organic platforms because Instagram, TikTok, and Instagram and TikTok mainly, and YouTube Shorts have really blown up over the last several years. And they're now becoming such a big driver of organic traffic because the younger generation is growing up on TikTok and Instagram. And so they're now using those as search engines. So if I go pull up your Instagram app and you go pull up your Instagram app, you're going to see up there, instead of it saying, look up these hashtags, it's going to say stuff like how to be better at organic gardening, how to be a better golfer, how to be whatever. It's going to give you recommendations that you can search for just like you would in Google. And Google's even recognizing these as being important results to their users. So in fact, in the Google results pages, you now see TikTok videos, you see Instagram reels, you see YouTube shorts. You don't just see YouTube, which is what you used to see a lot of. Now you see those. And it all is driven by keywords. Like, this goes back to the not attractive part of the business, right? You got to research, you got to know what your audience wants. But if you don't even know who your avatar is, you don't even know what keywords to go after. So you have to start there at the basics. That's what's going to drive your business. Then you put keywords in the titles. Then you use title tags and meta descriptions on your website, which basically is a title telling Google what your page is about. It's 101, right? It's common sense, but a lot of times, unfortunately, in marketing and business, common sense isn't that common. So we like to make sure common sense reigns supreme. Title your pages the way you want Google to find them with the keywords in them. AI content strategy is something that we can teach you. Shreya is going to talk a little bit about what that looks like.
Yeah, so what's been happening recently is everybody wants to jump to AI, which is great. I absolutely love AI. I love to use AI to aid me in everything I do. I've actually written happy birthday messages to Paul and posted it on Facebook using AI. So that's not, no kidding. But you can't just copy and paste. And that's what happened a few years ago when AI was just coming out. Everybody was like, okay, this is the most easiest thing in the world. And that's what everybody was teaching too. You just copy and paste or make it sound like yours a little bit, change it a little bit. But that's not what is going to go on going forward. You have to change your strategy a little bit. Use AI as your existing starting point, right? Back when in the school days, college days, if you had to do some assignment, if you had to write something, you have to do anything, you would go back and kind of do your research, right? That's where the AI kind of comes into play. But you have to modify it. You can't copy and paste because Google is getting smarter. And next thing we know is the social media site is getting smarter because actually On Reddit, we have seen where people are getting blocked because they're using AI to answer
Yes.
some of the questions. And people are saying, well, let's block this person because they just used AI, ChatGPT, or whatever else, right? To just come up with an answer and pasted it in there. So no one is valuing the output that's coming out of AI. They want to
No.
know you. They want to connect with you. They want a human, not an AI. So yes, you could use AI as a starting point. You could use ChatGPT or programs like Jasper or any other program that does like good content, good pictures, or anything else. But you have to modify it so that it sounds like you, so that it sounds like a person. You have to. There's tools that we'll link a training that we did recently that kind of
Yes.
goes through the steps that we use to do this, and watch that. You have to go through these steps.
Yeah, this is the training right there that Shreya is referring to. We're going to link to this below this video. And this actually walks you through. It's what we gave at ClickBank Summit when we spoke. And we talked all about, it was a virtual event, and we talked about the importance of using AI for effective content generation. But how do you do it so you don't get slapped? And you even will hear us from over a year ago talking about how you need to be careful about using it. Well, this all came true when Google slapped 2% of their search engines results. That means 2% of websites like we're using AI content, and Google said we're done with you. And like that kills your business because you worked with a shady marketing company that thought they knew what they were doing. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. We
Yes,
like to say that marketing agencies suck, even though we are one, they do, right? Like you
they
got to be
do.
careful who you work with.
But because we are a process-based marketing company, like what we talked about a year ago still applies. You could
Yes.
still apply that process because we're not teaching you copy and paste. We're not teaching you like
No.
the easy stuff, one click, this, that, right? That process, if you apply it today, it still works. We still use it, our clients still use it, and it still works because
Yeah.
you're making it your own, right? So process-based, doesn't matter the industry.
Everything we do, these three levers, you could talk about these 5 years from now, and they're still going to be relevant to your business. Because, and I can tell you that wholeheartedly, because every one of these levers was relevant 20 years ago,
Yes.
around, early 2000s. Every one of these things was relevant. And at the end of the day, we don't get caught up in all the what's new, yes, we do use the new platforms. We apply the same process as new marketing channels come out. We apply the same process. Like that's all that matters in your business, that you're applying the same process. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, how do I get these keywords that I can use? Because everything's keyword driven, right? Everything's keyword driven. Like what you title your content is going to be important for social media and all those things. So, lead generation is a great example. It's just a keyword. We type in the word lead generation into Google. Google calls this Google predictive search, and then they will pull up results that are relevant to what other people have searched for. Now, there's options. There's even an option that says copy over there to the right, but you can actually pull these down. There's all sorts of things you can do though. So you just type in the word like lead generation, and then you can start writing these down, like lead generation landing page. That would become a video you could do. Let's say you were doing dog training or you were doing golfing, and you just type that in. You would then make content around these different keywords. You would do a social media post, do a video about it. TikTok has now expanded their amount of content in the captions to 4,000 characters because they want people to be using more search kind of terms and things like that in their copy. They want to become the next Google. That's how you're going to show up, is using these keywords. Then if you scroll down, you're also going to see people also searched for, and you're going to see down there other examples of things that people also searched for. And then you can copy and paste these into a notepad or into a Excel spreadsheet or a Google Doc or whatever you use to capture your content. And then this becomes the content that you now go create on social media, because Google's telling you this is what people want to know about. You go present content people want to know about, and people will find you a whole lot easier if you're using the right keywords. And you do this on social media, and you do this on your website, and this is how you drive traffic that is free, organic traffic. You can still run paid ads. We will allow you to run paid ads as long as you've done the conversion rate and sales optimization things. All right. So I don't like when companies are out there wasting money on ads. I think it's silly. We get clients that we come to them and we cut their ad spend, and they think we're crazy, at least for 2 months. And then they realize we're genius because now they're saving money. Now their ad costs are in, a fraction of what they used to spend, and they're now profitable. And the funny thing is, some of the time they're making more sales. Sometimes their sales numbers might be down, but their profits are way up.
Yes.
And I'm like, what are you in business for? To make millions in revenue or millions in profit. Like,
Exactly.
because if you're millions in
Exactly.
revenue meant that you're spending millions to get that, are you really profitable? And the answer is no in a lot of cases. So why
Right.
don't you, get in business where you're actually making money that you can take home?
It's a marketing mindset shift because,
Complete shift.
yes, it is, right? Marketing is more than just running ads.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, that's probably my biggest tangent, that we've seen is we worked with a client once. We were their fractional CMO, and we don't have to say the brand name, but they were one of the silliest ones I've ever worked with on this, where we actually filled one of their live events, filled a live event, 3,000 people, by doing a couple of things. We did everything we talk about here. We did conversion rate sales optimization. We optimized their landing page so that it converted better. We did a better video so that their video converted better. We did improve their calls to action. We fixed the background colors. We did all the conversion rate things because people were confused. We added more information to the sales page to make it easier to answer people's FAQs about the event. Did all those elements. Then we went to their email list, which was rather large, a large email list. Then we went to their social media, which at that point, social media was in the 500,000 or so. So it had a very large social presence. Then we went out, they had a network of affiliates that were actually love this brand and were supporting it. We went to those brands and we said, you guys go out and promote this brand. We did all that, got 3,000 people. We tapped into what we call OPA, other people's audience. That's a whole nother topic, but that's a huge avenue for traffic. The best source of traffic is other people recommending you. And then we used organic traffic from their inbuilt social media. We used their email list, and we spent a total of $1,200 on ads. And the event did over $1 million. Now, you would think the client would be celebrating and being all excited, right? Most common sense people, or 99.9% of people out there would be. Not this one, because somebody was chirping in their ears that we weren't doing true marketing because we were just leveraging their current assets. And imagine how frustrated I was and how I had to basically be tied down to a chair so I didn't lose it when I was told to my face, what did Marketing Counts do for us? Because we didn't spend money on ads. So we explained calmly as we could exactly what we did. Kind of made sense. But then the next event rolled around, and guess what they wanted to do? Well, we don't want to use our current assets. Not even kidding. You can't make this up. You can't fix stupid, but you can't make it up. So we go out there and they say, we want you to run ads, and we want you to run ads, only run ads, because that's what marketing is. I said, okay, we will do that. And I knew it wasn't going to work. So we did it. We ran ads for a little while, next to nobody registering, had a few people register, this and that, right? Ignored their audience, which is just crazy to me. Finally, I got frustrated and said, you know what, forget this. We're going to go back to what worked. So at the end of it, we ended up getting 1,200 people there. But guess what? They were happy at first because we spent $50,000 in ads, and they were thrilled with that. And we spent way more in ads because to them, that was marketing. And then when we showed them those things, then they realized how foolish they were. But it was too late. We fired them as a client because we don't do that kind of stuff in our business. So we focus on people that, if you're smart about your business, you can run ads all you want, but don't waste money on ads. Like that's the story here. Like, don't waste money if you don't have to waste money. Most businesses have an asset that already gets traffic, like a website. They have a large social media following. They have an email list. And if you have none of those, you can still use all these organic methods, especially organic social, to grow quicker, right? And get it out there. And we're not against ads. Ads are great. That's a whole nother training for us to teach you on, and you can follow and learn more from us. But this is the organic traffic strategy. We'll teach you this. Now, the last thing we'll kind of do in summary here, just kind of closing here, is that we are, just so excited to help your business grow and amplify your message and your reach, help you get more reach the people you want to reach, but not spend as much money. So we invite you, just go to marketingcounts.com. You'll see a simple form there you can fill out if you would like to work with us. We offer multiple programs. We have programs for every budget. So we have a Marketing Counts Club, which is $97 a month for any business owner, entrepreneur, solopreneur, large brand, whatever it is that's trying to build and grow their business and wants marketing help where you can talk to us and answer your questions. We have that program. It's a great offer for anybody at any budget. The other programs we have are starting at $5,000 for coaching. And, that's for where we kind of serve as your CMO. So we have packages for every business at every price point that you could imagine. We also have mastermind. So if you do want to work with us, just go to marketingcounts.com, pick an option that works for you, fill out the form, open up a quick dialogue with us. We'll meet with you on Zoom We'd be happy to talk you through your specific business needs and how you can grow. So that's just marketingcounts.com. Link will be below. Thank you so much for checking this out. We appreciate you all so much.